Hi folks, I'm Nessie. This is LCL Pride, where we chat about all things London City Lionesses. And what I'm going to chat about today doesn't only affect London City, it also affects another club. We're going to chat a little bit more about this. But before we get into anything, do like and subscribe. If you like these kind of things, do like and subscribe because it means a lot. And I do this just for a laugh. So I really do appreciate any likes and comments and whatever. So about a year ago, I was told, and none of this came from London City. Nothing that I'm about to say has come from London City Lionesses. About a year ago, I was told that Kang had put the feelers out in South East London, that she was looking for either land or builders or both because she wanted to build a stadium. Now, this was kind of confirmed by Martin Semmons, who's the CEO of London City, in a TalkSport interview a little while back. The video's online, you can go and look at. Now, that was really interesting because obviously in Lyon, they were looking for the same and they wanted their own stadium and they wanted everything. And it turns out now that the Lyon women are playing in the main stadium because Kang is now CEO or president of Lyon Men. So that leads us on to the start of the season. London City got promoted. And the first game of the season, my apologies, someone came up to me in the Emirates when we were there at the Arsenal game and said, "Did you see the fixture list for this season?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And then they go, "Did you see the venues for the season?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?" "We're supposed to be playing Chelsea in the Den." And I was like, "That's not going to happen." And they were like, "Well, it's on the fixture list." So I went home, looked at the fixture list, and it was on the fixture list. You Googled it, it was on the fixture list. Didn't think a huge amount of it. I was like, okay, right. Maybe it was part of the deal when London City were playing in Chelsea, that Chelsea were like, okay, if you want us to play in Stamford Bridge, we want to play in a big stadium as well. So you get us the Den and we'll be sorted. You can then use Stamford Bridge as well. Now, why I think this was important that weekend is because that was the launch of the Together clothing range or the brand deal thing. And when there were players coming over from the US, having them have their photographs taken in Stamford Bridge as part of this big launch looked an awful lot better than it would having the photos taken in Bromley. And that is absolutely no disrespect to Bromley Football Club, because they've done an awful lot there in the club. But again, I do, from what I hear anyway, that a lot of the investment and the new pitch was actually paid for by Kang. I can't say that for certain. I don't know that, but I have heard that. But anyway, moving on. Throughout the season, we were kind of looking at the fixtures, and they were still coming up on Google and with Sky Sports or whatever, that London City were going to be playing in the Den. And at, I think it was the Christmas game, the game just before Christmas, that there was in the programme, they said that we're going to play at the Den. And it was like, oh, if it's there, it must be true. Now, suddenly after that, it has kind of disappeared from the timeline of the fixtures. When I say that, I mean that if you go on and look at it, there's no location for that. There's no location for that game now. It just says location. It just says location on London City's website as well. So there's something going on there. So we've been wondering for a little while what has been going on. And then I kind of heard on the grapevine that Kang was actually looking at the Den and seeing what collaborations, we'll call it collaboration, seeing what collaborations could happen. And then this weekend, for some reason, things have kind of taken a little spurt upwards, and Millwall fans have now seen this. So I just want to go into a little bit of the history that I know. In 2018 actually, in April, I think it was 2018, Millwall were coming under a lot of financial issues. They didn't know whether they were going to have a women's team, and basically in 2019, Culligan, who was involved in the women's team in Millwall, said, we're going to split, because they couldn't get the investment. They wanted, the men's team weren't on board, basically, the men's side of the club. So they wanted to put more into the women's side. So in 2019, they split, they became London City Lionesses. And when something like that is going to happen, you always have to approach and you have to get the approval of the FA before anything can happen. So they got the approval of the FA. They then got their licence for Tier 2 as well. In the meantime, Millwall did not do anything about a women's team. And it was only after COVID and all the lockdowns that they did anything and got a women's team back up and running, as far as I'm aware. Now, why is this important? Online right now, it's basically, I do not want our fan bases to be at loggerheads. I do not want any of that, because basically I have lived in Lewisham for like 13 years or something, and Lewisham is somewhere I call home, and more football that is around, the better, and Millwall would be our closest team. Right, simple as. So when I started going to see London City, they were an independent team, and I could get a train over to Dartford and go see them play. Simple as that. Throughout the time then, I thought it was really cool that there was an independent team, that they were not affiliated with a men's team and doing something different. In, I think it was November 2023, December, Michelle Kang took the team over. So realistically, while they're not affiliated with a men's team, London City aren't independent, because they're part of currently a three-team multi-team system, which doesn't make them independent. It means they're not affiliated with a men's team. So there is a difference there. Now, this weekend, for some reason, it has become apparent, whether it's people have been looking at the fixture lists or what has come up. London City still do not have a venue listed for the Chelsea game. Now, the Chelsea game is due to take place on the 22nd of March. Arsenal come in on the 15th of March, the weekend before. Now, both of those we know are going to be big games. When we even played in Prince's Park against Arsenal, it was a massive, massive game. The place was rammed. So we know it doesn't matter where you're going to play Arsenal. Arsenal always bring a fantastic away support. The place is going to be full. And with Chelsea are a big team. They're a London team as well. There's going to be a lot of people there. So I don't think moving as some of the bloggers or vloggers online have said, I don't think moving a Chelsea game to the Den is going to get any more fans in. Yeah, maybe, I don't know, but I think that the international break that weekend has nothing got to do with it at all. I think this is more to do with whatever deal it was that happened at Stamford Bridge, and ensuring that Megan Rapinoe and whoever else was there that day could be there and could be seen to be at Stamford Bridge in a big stadium, launching this collaboration, this partnership with Together. The other thing with this is that some of the people there online have said that London City, about the history of London City. London City have never, ever, as far as I can see, have ever claimed any history of Millwall. We always say that we're a club that was formed in 2019, that we're 6 years old. The only time that I can recollect that anybody referred to Millwall at any stage really, or referred back, and that was me, to be quite honest with you, and that was when Matt Beard died, because Matt worked at Millwall Lionesses, and I do think, and I still think, Matt has... his influence over the women's game has been massive, and that's why I referred to Matt and to Millwall at that stage, and that was just to honour his legacy and nothing more. We've never said anything about Millwall. We've never said that we are Millwall. Never. It's always London City Lionesses. Also, Bromley is in Greater London, so yes, we are playing there. But if you look at some of the other teams that are within London, they all play on the outskirts, or they have their training facilities on the outskirts of London. So whether Bromley, while it might be Bromley Kent, it's technically Greater London. So if you have your training facilities out in Aylesford, like there's new facilities being built there. So to be quite honest with you, that is a non-issue, saying that we're not a London team or whatever. They play in Bromley. Bromley is part of London. Get over it. The next thing then that I want to bring up is that a couple of months ago, I heard, as I said, that there was some collaboration possibly happening with Michelle Kang and Millwall, or she was approaching them for whatever. Now, I think it's Lions Central. I'll put a link or I'll put a screenshot or something up. They brought it up on their Instagram during the week that London City were approaching Millwall. And it was basically, they said that this could be the first, that the Chelsea game could be the first of many that would be held in the Den, that maybe it was looking towards a permanent move. Now, I don't know. I have no idea. If London City were to move from Bromley right now, they would have to approach the FA and put that in writing that they wanted to play in Millwall, in the Den. A couple of reasons that they would want to play. Now, I remember when we played Fulham in Craven Cottage, I was like, if it's a thing that London City get to Champions League, they might play here. You never know. But if it's a thing that London City are aiming for Champions League in the next season, they will want a bigger stadium. They will want to get more of a footfall from central London, and they will want to get more American tourists in, because we know that there are other clubs in London. They all have their own fan base, and unless, as I've said before, unless you're 6 years old, you haven't been a lifelong fan of London City. I haven't been a lifelong fan of London City, and there are very few people who have. So they're all under the age of 6 or 7. Do you know what I mean? So you want to get more of a pass and trade, and you want to get people who haven't been to games before, and having a stadium that is closer to town and it's not too far from London Bridge is a major thing. But the one thing that with all this that is happening, like, I'm telling the story from what I know and what I've seen. I would hate to think that there is any animosity or rivalry between London City and Millwall, because I don't have any. I can understand why Millwall might be a little bit aggrieved, but like, from as far as I can see, they were running into financial difficulties anyway in 2018. And Diane trying to bail them out and tried to give the women's team a new lease of life. It mightn't have gone the way she wanted and been able to hold on to it herself. But from what happened in 2018, the Millwall Lionesses were almost in administration. And from that to where they are now is worlds apart. And, you know, I'd love to know what you guys think. I'm open to conversation. At some stage, Diane Culligan has actually said that she would sit down with me at some stage and go through the history. And that might be a really good time to do that now. But yeah, I'd love to know what you think. Would you be happy to be playing your home games in the Den? I do think you would get a lot more footfall, closer to London City Centre, closer to London Bridge, so there's a lot more things there. I suppose there's ease of access would be definitely one thing. I don't think moving the Chelsea game it's not going to make any difference for international breaks or whatever. There is one weekend every season where all the women's teams do play in the main stadiums. Obviously, London City is not affiliated with any men's team, so Bromley is our main stadium. But it would be nice if we could play in a bigger stadium and call it home. But yeah, that's it for now. I just wanted to come on and say a few things. I don't think anybody stole a club. I'd love to chat to Diane at some stage about this. I'd love to get your input on what you think. London City haven't stolen anybody's. We don't. The club has never referred to the history or what happened before 2019. That just hasn't happened. So yeah, and the thing from Millwall is, if you guys are going up, and I'd love to see you going up, but if you guys are going up, getting another team in there is going to be extra revenue, because let's be honest, Michelle Kang has the bucks to pay. So if you can make the best out of this for your own financial gain, that's the area that I would look at. Don't worry about anything else. Get the money in from her. And if we do play there, we'll look after your ground for you. I'd love to hear your comments, and do like, subscribe, and until next time.